Hi guys!
Hi guys!
Welcome to our channel.
Welcome to our channel.
Before we get into today's subject, we just wanted to say thank you to all our subscribers and viewers for watching our videos. Our channel has kept on growing and growing so far, so we're really happy about that.
And after the last video, we got so much great feedback and tips, and we keep them coming, and lovely comments, and we loved it.
Yeah.
And we would like to thank our patrons as usual for all the support that you give us. And also, we have 2 new patrons this week, so welcome to our family.
Yep.
Brett.
And Jason from our home country of Malta.
Yep.
So thanks guys, we really appreciate it.
And we also want to thank Derry and Adrian. Thank you very much for our Christmas gift.
Thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate everything that
and every little bit helps, eh?
Yeah, it sure does.
We also want to thank the YouTube user Free Soul for suggesting the content of this video, which is all to do with fires and fire safety and all of that. So thanks a lot. So one of the main, I don't know if I'd call it a drawback, but it's something definitely that you need to be well aware of from before you buy your property and while you're living here, is the situation of the forest fires in Portugal. Fires are a huge concern in this country, especially after in 2017 over 100 lives were lost and over 520,000 hectares of land was burned. That's over 6% of the Portuguese land. The Portuguese government has put in a lot of new laws regarding land clearing and stuff like that. So there was an analysis made of all the causes of the fires in 2017, and out of 17,090 investigations, they worked out that 33.9% are due to negligence, 19.9% are intentional, which is really scary, 10.2% reignitions, 0.7% natural, and 37.9% unknown, which is worrying as well, why they don't know that.
Well, you have to address the problem that there are fires in Portugal, but we just don't want you to be scared of actually just not even looking into Portugal just because of the fires. Now, we recently had a message from a guy and he said, oh, I didn't even realize that there were fires in Portugal. Then that's off my list. But we're just here to try and put your mind at rest that if you are prepared, you shouldn't be scared.
Yeah, forest fires are definitely scary, yeah. I mean, but there's some things you can do, some things you have to do by law, and precautions you can take so you can protect yourself, your home and family, your neighbors and the community.
So today we are going to be going through a few things that to look out for when you're looking for property.
Also, we'll go through some do's and don'ts and touch briefly on your responsibilities as a landowner. So when it comes to fire safety, there's things you can do before you buy the property, so certain things you should maybe look out for. I think it's very important that when you actually go and look at properties, you're very fire safety conscious before you actually go, so you can inspect and look around and know what to look for. So a couple of things, I mean, it's fairly obvious, but we just want to point out that you really should go with that frame of mind when you're looking at properties. If your land is surrounded by a big eucalyptus forest, I mean, the danger is always there, you know, and it's you won't be able to do anything about it, and you're just at the mercy of the winds, basically, you know, because, I mean, like the statistics say, 34% are through negligence. So all that takes is someone else living on the other side of that eucalyptus forest has a fire, and then you're at the mercy of the winds, and it just sweeps through and takes you with it. Another thing to look for is water sources. The more the better, so always keep that in mind. If there's a lake, even better, you know, and you can set up some big pump to protect your land from fires. But definitely look around for the types of water sources that you do have. Another thing is access.
If you don't have access, and okay, maybe you want to be able to remote and you don't use a car and you can walk in and out, maybe that's good for you. But then if there is a fire in your land and the fire engines cannot get through, then that is a very big problem for you. So access, even if you think you don't need it, you will if something like this happens.
Also, just be aware that when you buy your land, if there's any public roads that are touching your land or your neighbors, because like if you have a neighbor at a border that's less than 50 meters away or within 50 meters, then the responsibility is kind of between you and your neighbor. So you have to be aware of your requirements by law for cleaning land, and that you can actually carry it out and afford to bring people in to do it for you,
Yeah.
because I mean it's useless. We're lucky because we bought this huge piece of land. It will take years, and we'll touch on this very soon, to clean all the land the way we want it, and then we plan to get goats and sheep so we can keep it maintained. Yeah. But if you're living somewhere closer to a village or something, you have to look at your responsibilities before you actually buy the place, that you can actually carry out these responsibilities and you can afford to do them.
Once you have bought your piece of land, there are a few things you can do to make your property as safe as can be. And the first, and I think the most important rule, is to have a safety plan and include all the people who occupy your land about it. So you talk about it, everyone has their individual jobs to do, because this is very important. Once a fire comes and you see it coming, you'll be so stressed that...
it's life and death, I mean, if you do have a fire coming towards you,
Yeah, and you just have no time to think. So the best thing you can do is that you've already planned it out and you don't have to think. You've already done it
fire drill!
So yeah, that you have a safety plan, and also an emergency bag. So an emergency bag with your car keys in it, with your spare car keys, I guess, in it, and with your important documents. So all you have to do is just grab it and go.
And your pets.
And your pets. Because there'll be no time to think. And also, with this plan, you should have a plan for your animals. So if you have livestock, you see what you're going to do with them. If you have a river, maybe walk them to a water source, or just open their cages. Because if they're all in cages...
The least you should do, definitely.
That's the least you should do, is open up their cages, because otherwise it's just a death sentence for all your animals if the fire is tearing through your property. As well as the plan, you should have 2 escape routes at least. So if the fire is coming from the north, you go south. And if it's coming from the east, you go west. Yeah. So you have a plan. And you need to keep them clean. And you need to make sure that, they're well maintained. Unobstructed. So if anything happens, you can just get up and go.
Yeah.
And then also obey the rules, because it's so important. If there's a fire ban, obey the rules. Yeah. Do not have fires. Do not have open fires. And once I say this,
sit back, Poppy.
Also,
this is a serious subject.
Yes,
okay?
It is. It is also time for our walkies, but she has to wait. But so in saying this, I'm not talking only about outside. If you are indoors and you have an open flame, never leave the room, because you never know once you leave that room what might happen.
Land management, planting like native fire retardant plants, like cork is a fire retardant and it's native and protected and everything. So that's a great tree to have on your land. And land management as in cleaning bushes, and like bushes that contain a lot of resins and oils. Like we have this one plant, I'll show you in a minute. I'll go and pull one out.
Rock rose?
Like a rock rose. It's used in herbal medicine. It's used in perfumes. I think they make some vermouth out of it as well. It's quite expensive as well. I looked on eBay because we have loads of it. In summer it produces this resin, labdanum, and it protects the plant from the heat. That's why it always kind of excretes a lot of it in the hottest times, in August, in the middle of the day. Back in the day, they collected this off of their livestock, off of the goats, because the goats would be in there chomping away, and they'd get all this resin stuck in their beards and in their thigh hairs and everything, and they'd take it off. And then they created like this rake thing with like leather straps to collect it. And it sells for a pretty penny. I mean, on eBay, if you want to buy some of it, like pure resin, it's like €8 for 10 grams. It's like 800 euros a kilo. The only problem is it's pretty hard. You get very little. I was thinking maybe getting Sarah to make me a...
It's not going to happen.
A lycra cat suit or something, and I can go collect it and just jump into the fields of
in the hottest time of the day, because that's when they do it. So I don't think normally we're underneath a tree sweating, sweating like crazy.
Well, some people, I think there's some farm not too far from here that make this like essential oil out of it.
Hmm.
But anyway, it's a source of income, I guess. But we haven't tried yet with that.
No.
We'll see
I
how
think
it
it
goes.
will be very time consuming and
Yeah.
we'll have no time to do anything else. But
Yeah,
maybe we'll try in Molly's beard first before we make the
yeah. Yeah,
suit.
Molly.
You want to do it in the beard?
This whole area, I mean, all of our land was like completely covered with this like broom, I think, Spanish broom with white and yellow flowers. That rock rose. We only kept the hawthorn, which is this, lavender, cork oaks, and then we still have some brambles which have grown back because we didn't pull them out of the roots. But you can see we've cleared, and look at all the grass, the ground cover that's come up all the way around the earth. So at least we felt a bit safe when we first put up the last March. But now we'd like to, if you can see just past this terrace over here, we have another 2 terraces, which we need to clean out and just leave the cork and hawthorn. And hopefully we'll be able to plant either a small vineyard or an orchard or some fruit trees in the future. But yeah, we've still got loads and loads of land to clean. So yeah, when we say land clearing and management, anyway, we say keep a tidy, no debris and no combustible materials by your house and all this, and petrol in the car.
Yes, you should keep petrol to a minimum, gas tanks and like your water pump, keep them somewhere in the shade, not in full sun, and try and keep those with as little petrol as possible too. And there's one trick that they do over here. I don't know if they do it all over the world, but someone gave us this idea that if you do see a fire on your land and it's coming towards you and you've got gas cylinders,
and you have time to do this,
and you have time to do this because they are like bombs, just throw them all into your well. So as fast as you can, and as many as you have, just throw them into your well. At least they're somewhere safe.
Yeah, a few people told us that tip. We don't.
We haven't
thankfully,
done it,
we
thank
haven't experienced
goodness.
it.
But yeah, it's good to know, and it is on our plan. So if anything does happen and the fire is coming towards us and we're just going in auto, we're going to be doing that.
It's super important that you know exactly. You have to manage your land or property in a way that you don't just have stuff scattered all over the place, and then when you can see a fire in the distance, you'll be running around like a headless chicken, and for sure you'll get things wrong and endanger yourself and family or neighboring land or whatever.
And it could be just things that you're not even thinking about. Like we have the compost heap, which our friends, it's set when it was really hot, it's caught on fire. So it's really important to cover it, but also to keep it moist, wet in summer.
Yeah,
so
it's very important. I mean, the temperatures that you get when composting go pretty high.
They're already high, so added with that and the heat,
yeah,
and the ground is so hot. It's just.
And it helps your compost become compost sooner when you keep the right moisture levels, obviously. So take care of your compost piles, especially in summer. When it comes to your vehicles, try not to park on grass. That's one thing that I didn't even think about when we first came to Portugal. We had no idea, but someone had mentioned it to us that there was some big fire.
There was a party.
There was a party or something somewhere in Portugal. No, I think was it.
So
we're not quite sure.
We're not sure where.
We heard of this situation that happened where there was some big party, and all the car park was all grass, and one car came in, and the tailpipe was super hot on the dry grass. And I think like 100 cars or something. It was a big thing, and they were lucky enough to go down to the river or something. And I don't think anyone got hurt. I think that it was just loss of property that was the main disaster. So that's definitely something to think about, of parking your car on grass in a hot day.
And parking it somewhere shady too.
In the shade, not leaving lighters in your car.
Not leaving lighters, and this one, Luke said it. He had heard someone say it that your bottles of water, if you leave them in the car empty, especially, the sun is going to reflect onto them. Yeah,
it's going to turn it into a magnifying glass. Maybe there'll be some, I don't know, dry cloth underneath it or something, and it can magnify. I mean, these are quite like
extreme situations maybe, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean they're not going to happen. So if you
Yeah.
can prevent them, all the better.
Also, as we said, always observe the rules, and always keep yourself, especially in the critical points, which I think is from 1st of July, and it changes every year. It's from around 1st of July, the critical point, and something like the end of September, October. But it does change every year. Also, the date to clean your land by is normally around the 15th of March. Having said that, this year, because of COVID, it got extended, I think, to the 1st or 15th of April. But just, you really need to, if you're a property owner in Portugal, you really need to be in touch with all these resources. And Safe Community Portugal is a great resource, not only for fires, for other things as well, but for fires, it's a great resource. They have all these leaflets on things you should do if a fire is coming towards you, or on the law regarding cleaning the land. There's also the ICNF site, which is the site that you have to register on if you want to have a fire to burn debris, like when you're cleaning your land. The easiest way to do it is to go online onto ICNF and register your fire, and you get an answer like a permission, and then you can do it. So at least they know about it. And depending on the fire risk, so there's like extreme and high and medium and all that. Like in the high and in the extreme, you shouldn't use any blades on your strimmer, on your weed whacker, whatever you want to call it, because I mean,
One
you
little
hit
spark.
you hit a rock, there's a spark, and it's just, you'd be amazed how quickly it catches in these type of temperatures.
And I don't know if anyone knows this, but this was new to me, that fire even travels under the soil. Like,
That was crazy.
I didn't even know that this could happen, but it can set fire to your roots, and it just spreads underground. That is, for me, crazy. So you really have to be careful. One spark and you could have started the fire yourself.
And you don't want to be responsible.
You smoke a cigarette out in the open. One little spark of your cigarette, and you could start a fire too.
Yeah.
And even when that's why we don't even try to pull out bushes in summertime, apart from the fact that the ground is softer after a couple of rains, so it's much easier. So why bother? Yeah. But even just the hoe against a rock just a spark from that can start a fire. It's just, if you think about it, it's just so easy, and it can take over so fast that you wouldn't even know what happened. So you have to be really careful in summer. And from people who come from colder countries have no idea just how hot the ground is. It's like it's waiting to light.
How dry.
It's so dry. Like
summer.
You're walking on it and you can feel the tension, you know. It's true. You can feel the crackling of the ground. It's like something I never experienced. We're from Malta and it's a very hot country, but it's also like a biscuit. So we don't have this. But you can tell that a fire, like one little mistake and a fire is about to start.
And when there's like a red warning for fires, so if there's a fire 50 kilometers or whatever away, you shouldn't leave your land, so you're there so you can assess the situation and be ready. I mean, these are important. It's very important, to be in touch with what's going on as well.
And it is also important to have these emergency numbers on your phone, so they're very easily accessible.
I think now they've put everything into 112, because before it was a different number. So now you call 112 and report.
Oh, that's not so hard to remember.
If we're getting any of this wrong, I mean, we did do a lot of research on Safe Communities Portugal, ICNF, and GNR, and we've been trying to collect all the information. But if we leave anything out, or if we say anything that's wrong, and please let us know in the comments below. There shouldn't be, hopefully, but and also if luckily so far we haven't experienced any problems. We haven't had a fire in our land, basically, but a lot of people have. So if you're one of those people and can share any tips you might have, that will help out everyone who watches this video, So the more correct information that's out there, the better.
In the next video, we are going to cover 7 things you can do to protect your house, your property, from rural fires in Portugal. So if you want to know more, just if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you learnt anything from this, give us a thumbs up. Show us some love.
Yeah, show us some love, guys. So that's it from us, and look out for that next video. I think this video and the next are two of the most important videos that we could do because, yeah, it's life-saving knowing these things.
Yep. We definitely feel like if you know this, then you can protect yourself, you can protect your family, you can protect your livestock, you can protect your neighbors and your land.
Yeah.
So what could be more important than that?
Okay, that's it from us. Take
Thanks
it
for
easy,
watching.
and we'll see you next time.
Have
Bye.
a great day.